Hey guys, Dave here. Welcome to the Centurions Review, the punk rock band of wargame review institutions. I'm doing a review of Merrill's Marauders here, Commandos in Burma from 1943 to 1944. And it's a solitaire game where you run missions, basically, or they call them operations in this. To set up the game, the first thing you do is put ops on 0 and KIA on 0. And then you draw a mission card. So we draw this one. Alright, it says here the situation: place 3 real objectives and 3 ambushes, and the mission: build bases in the spaces occupied by 3 real objectives, and your KIA level has to be 8+. Here's how KIA works. You get +1 KIA when you kill an enemy soldier, but not when you panic one. And you lose KIA point whenever one of your soldiers is killed. And then you have 12 operations for this game, and command and signal. You have 1 leader for free, and your stacking limit will be 6. So the first thing we have to do is place 3 real objectives and 3 ambushes. So let's get them out here. Here's the putting out the 3 ambushes first, and we're going to mix them up so we don't know what is what. The objectives have pictures of airfields on it, but what's hilarious is a lot of times when you get an objective, you have to carry it away. So I don't know if you're carrying away an airfield or what, but alright, so let's mix these up. So we have to roll on the random location table to see where they're going. So I'll roll for the first one, and it's a 9, so it goes to Mogong. I can't even pronounce that. Let's find Mogong on the map. Here it is. Alright, next one. Roll the 6. That's Indal. That's right here, and that has an airfield on it. And roll for the next, and we get a 4, so that goes to Bahamo, which is right here. And then we roll a 5, which is Katha. That's right here. 5, roll the 5 again, so we got to re-roll. 6, that's Indal, we already did that one. Re-roll again. And then a 10, which is Kamang. And last one, 6, we re-roll. That's a 12, so that's Non-Con, which is way down here. Alright, so now we're going to pick out our force that we're going to use. We have 50 recruit points in this scenario, and like I said, the leader is free. Let me show you the recruiting table. So here's a recruiting table. Infantry is 2, airborne is 4, scouts are 3, heavy weapons are 3, engineers 3, supply columns are 2, airstrikes 5, air supply is 3, and forward bases, you build those using a supply plus an engineer, and leaders are free. So I'll pick out my forces now and then show them to you. 2 forces I picked out. The first one has Merrill himself, 2 infantry, an engineer, a scout, and 2 more infantry. And the other one has a paratrooper here, an engineer, another paratrooper, infantry, scout, and infantry. So before I place them, you take all the enemy units, there's 7 of them, and you're going to place them in a cup. What the number on here means is, like this 8 here, that means it rolls 8 dice in combat, so it's a very powerful unit. So let's go in a cup. And one other thing I forgot to mention, there's 2 other things the Allies have. They have 2 airstrikes and 2 air supplies. So those are going to go into the Commando Air Available section. And then units that weren't selected will go in the Commando Recruit pool. Alright, now before the game starts, you take each one of your stacks and you put them in a base. Like this one, this one, this one, or this one. Actual rules doesn't say where to set them up, but that's the consensus everyone has as to what to do with them. So since we see most of the objectives down here, we're going to use this space here for our unit. And the other unit I'm going to place here. Alright, I've set up the other unit too, so we're going to start the game now. So first segment that occurs is the movement segment. So they're going to move. Their slowest unit in the force is 2. So we can go 1, 2. So even if they had a speed of 3, they'd have to stop there because it's a river crossing. So the next segment is an event card segment. So let's draw one and see what happens. Op 4, roll 1 die and place that number of Op 4 units in the space. And win or lose, gain or lose 2 ops. Alright, so let's roll a dice and see how many there are. So there's going to be 2 enemy units. Put them from highest to lowest. And now I line up my guys in any order that I wish. I don't want my engineer to be killed or Merrill, so I'll put them near the bottom because the engineer is going to be needed for when I build bases. So I'll put that at the top, that at the top. Actually, these 3, 4. Put the scout there. Now we roll for tactical edge. The Americans get +1 because they have a leader with. So the Americans have tactical edge. So he's going to use 2 airstrikes with them, so he's going to roll a total of 9 dice. So they got a 6 and 3 5s. You need a 6 to kill or a 5 to panic. So they kill this guy and panic the other. And the combat's done, because if you only have a panic left, the combat ends. So the Americans gain 1 KIA. Oh, they also used 1 op this turn. So I'll stack them back up here. I'm not going to stack them perfectly because it keeps falling down. Oh, but there's 2 things we have to do now. First thing is we have to roll to see if we get a free leader since we won the combat. So we roll, if we get a 6, we get a free leader. No free leader. And now we got to see what happens to these 2 airstrikes. I'm going to roll for them. If it's even, they go back into the air available pool. Otherwise, they go into the recruit pool. So they're both even, so we'll be able to use them again later. And they can also be used as recon to reveal objectives. Alright, so I'll just stack them there the best I can. So we start a new turn now, and the ops... So actually they gained 2 ops on that one, I forgot to do that, so they're up to 13. So now they lose an op, so they're down to 12 because they're starting a new turn, and they're going to move, so they're all going to move to this space. Alright, so we're going to draw an event card. Gain 1 operation. It says, and pick one of the following units from your recruit pool, a scout supply or an air supply, and get it for free. So I'll use a supply unit. That's going to exceed the stacking limit, though. I'm going to assume since it has to go with the force, and since it will be overstacked, I can't place it, so the card didn't give me a unit. It doesn't say for sure in the rules. So we're going to start our next turn, and our scout there is going to try to, on the beginning of movement, is going to try to reveal that objective. Alright, so if it's even, he reveals it. No, he doesn't. But they're going to call in an aircraft to try and recon here. That does not reveal either. Wow, so now we got to roll for the aircraft to see if we can get it back. Yes, it will be available again. So they're going to do their movement to move to here and hope it's not an ambush. So reveal an objective card, Burmese guerrillas. If the operating force is a leader, PSYOP, or supply column, gain 1 op or reveal 1 objective marker. I will reveal this one. Alright, so we know that one at least is a real objective. We'll go to our next turn. Oh, sorry, not to the next turn yet. We got to do the objective segment. So this is revealed, and they have to draw another event card for this space. Intel, keep this card and play it to reveal 2 objectives. Take 1 additional op or make 1 air and water move. So I'll reveal this and this. So they actually worked out well. Now I know where all 3 real objectives are. So they're on that space now, and they've taken the objective, but they need to build a base there. So we'll start their next turn. Ops go down to 12. And beginning of movement, they decide that they're going to build a base there. So they have an engineer, which they need, so they'll have to take one of these air available supplies and use that to build a base. Alright, so the base is built there, and I'm going to need to build one here and here, and bring the KIA level up to 8+. That's the hard part. But you get the general idea of how the game is played. Now we'll go to the review portion now. Hey guys, Dave and Len here. This is Merrill's Marauders, Commandos in Burma from 1943 to 1944. This uses the commando system of rules that they've used in several other minigames. What'd you think of it, Len? It's a solitaire game first off, so I played several solitaire games and then he played one solitaire. What'd you think?
Well, it's a cute game, but it's not historically. It doesn't have the historical flavor of the campaign.
Yeah, I agree. There's nothing Merrill Marauders about it. It's just another commando game with Merrill's Marauders just written on the cover. Like you said, nothing historically accurate on there at all. You're just going forth and taking objectives, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you start the campaign, you don't know what your main objective is. No.
And it has this the Commando series has this kill ratio stuff where essentially, well, in this version of the kill ratio for this game, for each Japanese unit you kill, your kill ratio goes up 1. For each one of your guys that's killed, it goes down 1. So it'll have like an objective for each mission card where you have to take a certain number of objectives and then the game has to end with a KIA level of a certain amount or higher. So in the game he just played, the KIA level was 8, so the objectives he had to do was get to the objectives and build forward bases there, and after that was done he was just spending the game moving around trying to pick cards that would cause fights against the Japanese in order to get the KIA to move, so that was kind of lame.
Yeah. I mean, and there's no units trying to build the Burma Road. There's no Chinese units. There was a tank regiment that was assisted them, and I think 2 Chinese infantry regiments. They weren't as good fighters, but they're extra people. They could help out. I still had to go up front and encourage them to move a little faster and to do a little extra work.
And you said like the leaders, there was a leader you were looking for and they didn't even have the... Which leader was that didn't even have...
Charles Hunter.
Yeah, and they didn't even have a counter for him.
Yeah, because in the lore of the Marauders, Merrill had a heart attack early in the campaign, and Charles Hunter was an exec officer. So he really took over. And from there, literally from the first weeks until they reached their objective, Hunter was the guy in charge, was the command. In fact, many of the Marauders really referred to themselves as Hunter's Marauders. So
what'd you think of it overall? How would you rate it?
Well, it was a nice game, but historically, no.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, the gameplay is mediocre. If you're looking for historical accuracy, do not buy this game because you're not going to get any. So it's a mediocre game. The Commando series has been fun over the years, but I think if they come out with any more games for this minigame series, they need to retire the Commando rules and come out with something different. They need to do that with some of their folio games too, like that. What is the name of that rule set they use in the folio games, where essentially you and the other guy are picking the number of artillery and airstrikes you're going to use each combat, and then you reveal them. What's that? Whatever.
It's the fire and movement?
Yeah, I think fire and movement, that one needs to be retired too. That one has gone its course.
It depends. They have to redefine that, because I like that because you don't have to move around your artillery units and constantly calculate if they're in range or not. But the thing is, they have to change it between close support weapons like artillery and mortars, and far long-range weapons like aircraft or helicopters, which could go like, the close support one you can only use against adjacent units, but the other ones you can range behind lines and knock off a few people. So, but like I said, it makes it easy to play better. You can focus on where you're going to put your infantry and tanks. But
Yeah, I don't know, just that set of rules, folio rules. I know we're getting off topic here. Yeah, I mean, I've played so many games that have used that set of rules. I need to move on to something else. I mean, I'm sure they've learned quite a bit in the meantime that they can apply to a new rule set.
one of the magazine's games they called Green Hell. One of the scenarios was the Burma campaign, but that one they were smart enough. They at least had the Chindiks and the Marauders.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it was a. I think the only thing to win, the Allies had to get Michina and another another village, and according to John Masters, the objective was a different city. So one of these days I got to try it with that, using that victory conditions, because that's a hard one because it's in the system. The attackers are at a disadvantage, and the Allies are attacking.
Gotcha.
So,
anyhow, do I recommend this? If you're just looking for something that's kind of fun to play, yeah. But if you want something deeper or historically accurate, definitely not. What about you? Do you recommend or
yeah,
no recommend?
I was about to say that if you're interested in historical accuracy, you're not going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
But just for a cheap game, it's something like I was thinking if it's for sale for a few bucks. Maybe you can pick it up.
I think this
You'll
goes for about
enjoy
$15 or so. I mean, it's worth $15, but like I said, I'm just the Commando series of rules. I've played so many games with that. I'd like to see them come out with a new rule set.
Actually, if I was more energetic, I'd change the scenario around to make it more historically accurate. Because it's like, I remember when we're starting, I think, wait a minute, I don't know what my objective is. It's to open the Burma Road. That's my objective. And it's like, we can make some modifications. Maybe if I have some time in the future, I'll try it.
Yeah.
I like this at the Chinese Burma theater. So
cool. All right, thanks for watching, guys. We'll have a new review next week. Have a good evening.
Mm-hmm.